If you're still in your slumber from that Super Bowl, wake up. It's time for Texas Rangers baseball. We dive back in next on the DLLS Rangers podcast. Yeah, when pitchers and catchers work out tomorrow for the first time in Surprise, Arizona, that's going to be one of the storylines right there. Who will be the fifth starter? Kumar, Rocker, Jake Latz. They're probably the favorites. That's at least that's what I wrote today at DLS, alldls.com. Go over and check it out. But before we do that, guess who has conquered technology? It's our buddy Cody Freeman, and he is going to join us right now. There he is, live from Surprise. He's at the complex right now. He's already worked out, hit BP, took some ground balls, did his treatment. And Cody, how the hell are you doing?
Jeff, thanks again for having me on. Sorry about last time. I'm excited to be here.
Okay, was not your fault, and we appreciate you being so flexible and accommodating. And as I recall, last week we had started talking about your hitting with Jock, and it was a rake show and all of that stuff. It's only been a few days, but how do you feel dialed in here? Are you going to be dialed in when it's the first full squad workout?
No, I mean, I'm so pumped. I'm excited. We actually got to face some live arms on Friday. Got to face Rocker, Diaz, and Crivello, and it's always a reminder of like, all right, I'm ready to go now.
Yeah. So I mean, early on, are you taking hacks? Are you tracking? What is your
No, swing
strategy?
it. That's just it's like game like. Just swing it. Like why go in there and take? Just get as many hacks as you can, get as many swings as you can, and first lives, your goal is just to make contact, and you make contact just to win. So
Yeah. It sounds like we were talking before the show started. A pretty good group of guys already there at the complex regularly. You said Jock Peterson; he's the most veteran among the group. But you and then some other infielders, Cam Cauley, you said Aaron Zavala and Trevor Hauver there. They're non-roster invites. Hellman, Josh Young. So, what's it like working out with those guys, getting things going here early on?
I mean, it just shows you like all these boys. We're all excited to be back, and we're coming almost a week, a couple weeks early, and just to be back with the boys and get things rolling.
Yeah. So you and Josh are in the same draft class, correct? You were the fourth rounder. He was the first rounder. Now he was a college kid, obviously. So, you were out of high school, but what's that relationship like? Are you guys always tied by the 2019 draft?
Yeah, we actually got super close in 2019. I ended up driving to his house after Instructs that year, and then we got super close, and then we stuck together for a while. It was actually just at his fundraiser about 3 weeks ago up in Dallas, the wiffle ball tournament. And our relationship keeps growing, and finally on the same field together. He was always ahead of me, being a college guy, and his path was a little bit different than mine. And it's finally like, hey, we're on the same field. Like, let's ride, let's go.
Yeah. So early on here, so this will be my 19th spring, and I've learned that early on, you guys as position players, you don't have to work out every day until everybody shows up. But will you be there every day? Are you going to be grinding and doing something up there?
Oh yeah, we're here every single day until we take off for exhibition games. So it's unless we get an off day, which I mean, I only think there's like 3 every spring. We're gonna take that off day. Like it's needed in spring because we're at it every single day. So it's more of a mental reset, physical reset, and get ready for the next day. But when there's an off day, there's an opportunity. We're gonna take it.
Yeah. So these, I don't know. It sounds like a lot of the little rascals, or at least you and Hellman, are there. The so-called nickname that
Ozuna is here too. Sorry to interrupt. Ozuna is here. Ozuna.
Oh, Ozuna. Oh, well, he's
He
got to
is here.
he's got
Yeah.
to go to he's got to go play for Team Mexico.
Yep.
So
Yep.
the Little Rascals nickname that Jared Sandler came up with, what do you think of it? Do you like being called a Little Rascal?
I love it. I don't care at all. You know, it's just like seeing people wear like the shirts with their faces on it and stuff. It's just it's surreal. It's awesome. I love it. And the guys obviously, you know, Smitty's a big one who likes to make fun of me and just calls me like little rascal all the time, and he won't ever stop. But the guys in the locker room, they call us that, and it's like kind of like it's a little belittling, like, you know, it's like, hey buddy, like, hey little rascal, you know, but like it's just
Yeah.
something we laugh about. The fans love it, so it's like whatever. We're gonna
Okay.
ride with it.
Do you know where it comes from, the Little Rascals? Are you aware there was a show in the 1950s?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I watched that growing up. Do I know the characters' names by heart? No, but like I just do remember the one guy with like the hair in the middle, just straight up.
Alfalfa. Alfalfa.
Alfalfa,
Yeah.
that's who it was. Alfalfa.
Yeah.
Um, but yes, I do love that. I watched that multiple times growing up.
Yeah.
It's a good movie. Movie, right? It's not a show.
Well, it was a show and then it was a movie.
Oh,
Like
okay,
like in the 50s as a show, then they made a movie in the 90s. And like
got it.
Eddie Murphy, when he was on Saturday Night Live, he would be buckwheat, and
Buckwheat.
it's very famous. You should look it up. It's pretty funny.
I
Um,
will. I will.
yeah, yeah. But there was a buckwheat and an alfalfa. And, anyway, I like it.
Yeah,
These
no, I
things
don't mind it at all. I don't mind it at all.
they take a little while to grab on. You know, it's and I don't know if Jared intended it for it to take off like it did, but
Yeah, it did. It
the people
did.
like it. Yeah. Well, you got to get yourself a shirt. I don't think you could wear the shirt though.
Nah, I feel like, just wearing a shirt with your face on. It's kind of a little weird, but I'll let the other people wear them.
So we've got some people in the live chat looking for questions. A lot of encouraging words. I want you to go out and ball out and all that stuff. But as camp opens, obviously Marcus isn't there anymore. Josh seems to be the favorite. Josh Smith seems to be the favorite at second base. What's your approach here, though? Do you see an opportunity to contribute more than you did last year?
Absolutely. It's just like it's the business part of the game. People come and go, and opportunities come and go. And I feel like I have a good opportunity, and it's only going to better every single one of the people competing for that spot. It's only going to make our whole organization slash team that much better. Because you don't want to come into spring just relax and say, hey, I have the spot. By no means. I don't care
Mhm.
how like to a veteran status you are. I feel like nothing's ever set in stone until you sign $100 million plus contract. Stuff like that when it comes
Yeah,
into line. But like I just as me, like I'll never ever be comfortable with anything like saying given to me status.
yeah,
I'm gonna go out
yeah.
there and earn.
Yeah. So, speaking of uncomfortable, what was the outfield like for you last year? Because it's not something you've done a lot of.
Yeah,
And now after an off season, how much more comfortable are you?
honestly, like I mean, it was my first time ever playing in professional baseball in a game. It's the eighth inning, Kansas City, and Boach says Freeman go to right. I'm like, okay, like this is my first time like game on like close game. I'm like, hey, you're gonna learn, just go out there and do it. And I did it. And yeah, second hitter, got a fly ball. I'm like, oh gosh, let's go. And like I'm not used to getting chirped during the game on defense because I'm usually in the infield. You don't really
Yeah.
get chirped. At third base, you get some. Um, but right field, man, they were letting me have it. I was like, heck yeah, I kind of like that. I love when fans talk smack. Like honestly, like I'm not the type to get mad back either. It's like I'll talk back to them and have fun.
Yeah.
Cleveland was the worst. Um,
Cleveland.
and left field, yeah, oh yeah.
Okay.
But it was just fun. Like Boach threw me out there in a big moment, and I feel like that's just how you learn. And like you get a fly ball to second hitter, and get my feet wet, and then again I end up getting a start in left, like my second to last game of the season in Cleveland. And it just opens up. If there's a need at any position, I'll be ready.
Seems like Cleveland would be a tough left field. That gigantic wall,
It
and
was. It
it
was. Like that's honestly like, that stuff that comes into play. You got to look into pregame and like
yeah.
practice and stuff like that, how the ball comes off the wall and stuff like that. And there's a play when I came in and dove and missed it and dude got a triple and my boy Latz picked me up and went 1, 2, 3 and I was so hyped because I was like, oh my gosh, like I just messed up. Like, but I mean, again, that's how you're gonna learn and you know, just live and learn. But
How
I'm
much is
very
your?
to answer your question. To answer your question, yeah, I'm very, very much more comfortable in the outfield.
Were you working with you worked out with your brother? You said last time. Um, I mean, it's got to be pretty handy to have a guy who you grew up with who can play outfield and give you tips.
Yeah, for sure. No, absolutely. And it's like just doing not just it's like one off season I'm focused on catching. The minor
Yeah.
leagues focus on catching. Next off season it's like just third base. Next off season it's like a mixture of everything. So it's like it's my first one in a while or ever I think doing like both. So
Okay. So I mean, did you focus mostly on second base? Did you?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because you were saying you wanted to do the footwork, but um,
Hmm.
how I guess can you tell you've improved on it? Are you quicker? What how do you measure improvement on something like that?
Honestly, I feel like you can't measure until a game, but like
Mm-hmm.
in practice and stuff like that, like it feels really like that. Like it feels better. It feels way more comfortable. Um, and again, like it's like second base. Like I've played it, growing up, even in the minors, stuff like that. So it's like I'm very comfortable over there. But like when you get to that level, it's like you just got to continue to strive and get better than the better. It's like
Yeah,
just continue to strive. And like I feel like this year what I've learned the most about myself is like the thing I needed to take away from second base was starting double plays and getting the ball out a little quicker and work on feet work. So that was my like thing I had written down and wanted to work on defensively the most this offseason.
okay. Any work at shortstop? Have you done anything at shortstop this offseason?
Yeah, I take ground balls over there, but it's not like I'm doing like double play. Honestly, to answer that question, yes. Like I'm taking ground balls at short in the off season, but like, have I done any out here yet? Not much. Um, Kind
Yeah,
of still getting like everyone's taking it a little bit easier on the easier side, and then
yeah,
probably starting the end of this week, we'll start like getting really a little bit more after it.
yeah. And I didn't really know a lot about Michael Hellman because he came to the organization last year. Um, he's another guy like you, played all over the place. Although it seems like he's like this really good defensive outfielder. Suddenly, how much is he helping you um, kind of traverse everything?
Yeah, no, even during the season when I went out in the outfield and he was in center, like he was talking to me about stuff like where to be, like all this kind of stuff, and like I appreciate that too from him. And yeah, he mainly helped me out in the outfield, like making me feel a little bit more comfortable and like where to go and stuff like that. Because as a center fielder, you're going to be a leader. You're going to tell the left and right, like adjust them and stuff like that. And he was doing good out there with me, and I appreciate him with that stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Got a question from Dalton here. Are you a card collector? And will you be collecting your rookie card in Top Series 1?
What's funny is I do have some cards, like the numbered cards. I'm not
Uh-huh.
a big card collector, but I will keep like some big ones. Um, Obviously Berger and Josh Younger are card collectors, and we did have Armstrong. But would I say it's a passion? No. But is it cool to have like a cool card? Yeah.
What's it? Okay. Do you have like a favorite card that isn't you?
Um, no, but like I've had people ask. The coolest one I have is the 1-1 home run, my debut one.
Okay.
That's the one I just keep. Um, but no, I don't, because like if I don't want to collect like my teammates' cards and stuff like that. I feel like eventually I will, like like before people retire or move on, like from a different team. Like if I want them, I'm gonna get like an autograph or like a a signature or something, whether it's on a glove, a ball, something like that. But honestly, I'm not a big card collector, but I do have like the one cool one is the 1-1 of my home run. But
That is pretty sweet. I'm pretty sure I bought one of yours. Here it is. Because I used to, I mean, I still collect, but like when guys would come on the podcast, the other one that you've been on multiple times, I would try to get their card. So I have the 2019 Leaf Valiant Cody Freeman, numbered 11 to 25, navy blue
ooh,
autographed Texas Rangers. So there you
let's
go.
go.
I have a Cody Freeman card. All right. I also have Robbie Alstrom, who
Yeah, he's here too. I just saw him
yeah,
today.
that's a good dude right there.
He is. He
Uh,
is.
yeah. Okay. So rest of the day, what do you do? Do you play golf? Do you play video games? How do you spend your downtime at spring training?
So I'm actually getting a haircut at 1.
Okay,
Um,
you look a
you
little
know,
shaggy. Yeah.
yeah, it's out. I usually go weekly haircut, but going haircut after, and then honestly go home. I like to I will play the video game here and there. Um, watch some sports, hang out with the guys, my roommates and stuff like that. And yeah, I just, honestly I love to chill. I don't really nap at all. I'm very energetic, stuff like that. But
We
like when
could
it
tell.
comes to
Yeah.
when it comes to spring training though, that's my only time I will take a nap. Like small my naps, if I do average a nap, like they average 5 to 8 minutes, like no more than 10 minutes. Like everyone laughs at me. But like in Cooper Johnson, you ask him to, like, he laughs at, like, he will die because his naps are like hours. But like my nap literally averages 5 to 8 minutes, like, and that I'm just recharged, ready to roll.
Yeah. There's a probably my favorite Seinfeld is when uh, Kramer claims that he sleeps only 20 minutes at a time, but then he like oversleeps. I think it's the marathon one where George is working with the Yankees and he's had some Astros guys are in town and he starts calling them sons of bitches because that's what they're calling him. It's very funny.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right, two questions real quick since you're here.
yeah, yeah.
Um, 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 where did it go? Oh, what thoughts on the new coaching staff?
I love it. I met literally everyone. I mean, I've known Skip, but like I met a couple bench coaches. Met the pitching. Like I've met. There's new faces all around today, but like everyone's just they're great people, and it's just like it's a squad that you're ready to play for, and just good energy around from everybody, good positive vibes, and it's just we have a great staff, and everyone's here. So I did meet the Rod's around, Chad. Didn't get the last name. Pipes around, obviously. Teagues, and then Skips walking around. So
Is
everyone's here.
Travis there? Is Travis there yet?
Trav, yeah, Trav's here too. And
Okay. Okay.
talked to
Good.
him a little bit. Yeah, everyone's here, so we're all pumped up. Rags, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was good.
Good deal. And then I got a question for you. Which coach in the minor leagues do you think helped you the most?
I would say there's two that stood out to me. Carlos Cardoza, I know he's with the Mariners now.
Oh man, what a
He had
guy!
me. He's a great person. We have his younger brother here managing the AZL, and it's just, I just know he's going to ride his footsteps too. Uh, he had been rookie ball manager, low A manager, high A manager, high A skip because I repeated high A. He went to double A, and then I had him in
Yeah.
double A. So
Yeah.
for my first 5 years, I had him as a manager, and he's helped me grown so much. He's the reason why I love playing for a manager that likes to win and competes and wants to win just as bad as us. Because I mean, that you want a manager like that. You want a manager who's competitive and wants to win just as much as the players. And man, that dude's helped me out so much. We got super close. I'm actually going to eat with him and Luis Angel Acuna next week because that's
Oh,
my other dog. Um, and then the other one's Kenny Holmberg. Infield wise,
sure.
he's helped me
Sure.
out. He's helped me out so much. I've been with him since
Oh,
2019,
yeah.
and just yeah, we have great people in this org, and just they've helped me out so much.
All right. Got another question. Are you a coffee guy?
Every day, black cold brew, about 2 cups a day. Do I need it? Probably not. Um, do I like it? Yes. That's literally why I drink it. It's because like I literally stock up on cold brew in my fridge. I'll go to a coffee shop, whatever, but just a large black cold brew every single day. So
All right.
any
And then
any coffee shops out there, hit me up.
all right, we'll get you out on this one. Any major changes between Brett Boone and Justin Veely, like a focus or goals or anything like that?
Yeah, yes and no. Obviously, there's I had a great time with Booney when Booney was here. He helped me out very much, more mental than physically and hitting. Booney was there to make me feel comfortable. He made me feel very comfortable. He made me feel relaxed, and it's just like he compared like me to him when he played and stuff like that. And he was a very great support when I was there for the time being. And JV, man, it's one of those guys where it's like, you're happy he's in control, and you're
Hmm.
happy he's the hitting coach. And I mean, last week I was hitting with him every day in Scottsdale, and Friday was like a day where I was out here and with like a couple other guys hitting lives, and he drove from Scottsdale here just to watch the lives, and that just shows you that like he's in it to win it. And it's just one of those guys you're pumped to be around with.
Or I lied. Who are your roommates? Did I ask you that?
You haven't. It's Cooper Johnson, Zavala, and Tucker Mitchell,
Okay.
and guys I played with throughout the system.
Sure. Sure.
I'm sure
All
you
right.
know by all three of them.
Yeah. Yeah. You are correct. Okay. We went 5 minutes over, which is awesome. We thank you for
no
doing
worries.
it, Cody. Again, I will be there at some point in the morning. They haven't told us what time the clubhouse is opening, but we'll be out there. I'll look you up. And yeah, thanks again. You're awesome.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. Sorry about last time again. I'll always be apologetic.
Stop it with the apologies. It happens. It's live podcast magic. All right, get out of
All
there.
right. I'll see you
All
guys.
All right, Cody. That's Cody Freeman. What a guy. I didn't see everybody in the chat really seems to like the guy. You get to know him. He's fantastic. He's genuine and as good as it gets. Okay, hey, we got to do some ads, and then we got to adjust this schedule here because figured we'd stick with Cody there a while and go over our 15-minute allotment. All right, ads coming up. Hey guys, time to tell you about the wonderful people and wonderful food you can get at Wild Fork Foods Meat and Seafood Market. The Mavs crew was out at the Louisville location on Saturday. They got treated to some delicious meat, and I think old Kevin Gray got a doggy bag and got to enjoy that. I'm sure that many people enjoyed Wild Fork Foods wings or burgers or whatever your heart desires for the Super Bowl party. 9 DFW locations, a couple more that are in the works for the west side of the Metroplex, kind of where I have my roots in Texas. Anyway, Wild Fork, again, all kinds of meat, and if you like to be adventurous, there's always the kangaroo. You can get a whole pig. You can do all kinds of things at Wild Fork Food, including signing up to be a member for $29 for a year at wildforkfoods.com. You get free delivery. You'll want to go to the stores, but you don't have to. And then Prize Picks. This episode is brought to you Prize Picks, the leaders in daily fantasy. Go to prizepicks.com/DLS. Place a $5 lineup and get $50 in free lineups. This week they're doing some bonuses, and it started today with Jokic from the Nuggets. Of course, I grew up in Denver watching the Nuggets, so I'm a sucker for that. So I built a lineup with him and three others from the NBA. Here it is. Dennis Jenkins from the Pistons, more than 7.5 points. AJ Green of the Bucks, more than 9.5. Jokic, more than 22.5 points. And then Guy Santos there with the Warriors, 12 points. I tell you guys all the time, I just love this stuff. It's fun. It doesn't have to break the bank. I think this is a $4 lineup. You can do it for $1, 2 to 6 players, more or less than their predicted statistical category at prizepicks.com. All right, as you guys saw in the thumbnail at the top of the show, and hopefully you saw the story at alldls.com, it's time to talk fifth starter here. Really, we've talked about the bullpen first, and we talked about second base when Cody had to sign off because of the bad connection, and then we talked about on Friday about Jock and Josh and Jake Berger and how they need to be such keys to the offense. And now we're going to talk about the fifth starter. Really, that's one of the few things that's not determined, as the Rangers head to spring training. 4 guys locked up, awfully good. Jacob deGrom, Nathan Eovaldi, Jack Leiter, MacKenzie Gore, who was added in the trade very, very recently. What was that? The end of last month, kind of out of nowhere as I'm driving home from the show. Those 4, they match up with any other 4. The question now is where does the fifth starter come in? And I took 5 candidates who, there are going to be more guys who are stretching out and working out as starters, getting ready for their seasons wherever they end up. But there were 5 guys who I think, in my mind, can kind of have an opportunity here to break camp with the club. And then out of that group of 5, there's really 2 who we've been talking about the whole offseason. And first up is Jacob Latz. You just heard Cody talking about how Jake stranded a runner, third with no outs in his last start of the season at Cleveland. Look, this guy did both last year, did them both really, really well. his numbers are actually better as a starting pitcher. Not like a ton different, but better as a starter. He has the 4 pitches. His fastball and the slider, the average on those last season was below 200. Changeup and curveball, not as good as they were in 24, but he showed that he can pitch deeper into games. He pitches on a moment's notice, generally around the strike zone, can strike guys out, doesn't give up a lot of hard contact. I just think that, when you look at the whole picture, Jake Latz might be the best candidate. I mean, I think he's kind of earned it. The Rangers should trust him. Now, the other thing here is that he did so well as a reliever, and we know the Rangers bullpen, could use all the help it could get at this point, it would appear. And Jake Latz in there pitching multiple innings, couple 3 times a week, maybe even pitching in leverage situations. 8th inning, ninth inning, why not? I think there's a real good case to put him there. However, I think somebody else of these other 4 has to have a really good spring, and so good that it's like, all right, this just makes too much sense to not have this guy, and then we can put Jake in the bullpen, send somebody else to the minor leagues, and keep Jake stretched out enough so that when the injury arrives, it's not an if in Major League Baseball, it's when an injury arrives, Latz could be a candidate to hop back into the rotation and start from there. His main competition, if you will, is Kumar Rocker, and we all know about Kumar, the third overall pick, in 2022, and that was after his aborted deal with the Mets in 21. Great college career, so much talent, just a big body, throws hard, slider, which he calls a curveball, can be nasty. He threw a sinker more last year. He added a cutter, and man, it's all there. When he has his command, he's excellent. And there's a ceiling there. He's ace level. When I was talking to club officials in the offseason, when it came up when I was asking about an Adley Rutschman trade, and he's like, no, somebody said they'd want that to start with Walcott and Rocker, and the strength of our club is our starting pitching: deGrom, Eovaldi, Leiter, and Rocker. Yes, Rocker, even though he didn't do well in the majors last year, had some mechanical tweaks that they wanted to work on. They think that highly of him. The Rangers do. Now, he's got to come into camp ready to go, which he wasn't last year. He admitted he was going to do things different this offseason. The mechanical changes that the Rangers asked him to make, not quite at the level that Jack Leiter made in 23 going into 24, but can you repeat him? Is he used to him? Is it that good? And it has to be really, really good, I think, for the Rangers to go with Rocker in the rotation. Not impossible, though, and then, but I think they forced him in last year just because of the injuries to Gray and Bradford. Speaking of Bradford, this is probably may just be a temporary gig. He's going to be back in middle May. The elbow's doing better, obviously. He's going to be 10 months removed in May from the internal brace surgery. The Rangers love him, the way he goes about his business and how prepared he is, and knows what he has and knows how to attack with it. So he can, be the guy eventually in May. So this conversation may be short-lived, but it's going to be one of those topics that you see when you go into spring training. 3 others I wanted to mention real quick before we bounce to another ad break. Not Winston Santos, who I don't think is quite ready. Jose Corniell, who made his major league debut in the season finale last year. It was good for a little while and then got pretty bad there in the 10th. But this guy's got stuff. He is big. There's deception in his delivery. Another guy with 3 fastballs and a sweeper slider. Coming off of Tommy John last year, did he build enough innings for the Rangers to feel comfortable letting him go 6-7 innings in a start in the major leagues? How many innings does he have to work with this year? Are they going to keep him on a pitch count? I would suspect they would. Maybe not as severe as somebody else, but this guy's big. Like I said, throws hard. Great stuff. I just think he needs a little more seasoning. And then 2 NRIs. You have Cal Quantrill, who's going to pitch for Canada, a veteran guy who's been around forever, hasn't had a good season really in the majors since 2022, and he was really, really good for the Guardians. The numbers last year with the Marlins were an eyesore, but the Rangers saw something in him. They like the sink. They like the fact that he, traditionally has been a ground ball pitcher, doesn't hurt himself, throws a lot of strikes. He does not strike out a lot of guys, which is an issue. And then Austin Gomber. How does he pitch without the heaviness of Coors Field weighing on him? It's not like he was a great pitcher away from Coors Field. He had an ERA right around 5. It was just under at 4.94 for his career. Is there a burden released? John Gray talked about it, and it's a legitimate thing. You have 2 different grips for curveballs, for instance, one for home, one for the road. You can't be as consistent. At Coors Field, not only does the ball fly, but the outfielders play so deep that bloopers fall in more often than they should. Does pitching in a pitcher's park help Austin Gomber? I don't know. I don't know if the Rangers want to see that or not. But if he has a good spring, he might force their hand. And keep in mind, those 2 NRI guys are thought of as a potential depth, starting pitching depth. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe at the end of camp, the Rangers are like, well, the way to keep this guy in our organization is to put him on the major league roster. Now, that could be as a reliever. Latz could be the 5th starter, let's say, and Quantrill could be a guy in the bullpen. But I think that there are a lot of things to look at. And remember last year, everything was going great until 1 week in March when Gray and Bradford were both injured. The Rangers were scrambling. They signed Patrick Corbin. Could something like that happen? Absolutely. That's just the way baseball goes these days. Okay. Tried to cram that one in there into a segment. We're going to hit another ad break. And then when we come back, things that I'm going to be looking forward to in spring training right after this. All right. What do we got? We got some supporters club. There we go. I was thinking about it, and I told you this. I'm legitimately thinking about what I'm going to do for my contribution to the supporters club, my video. The good news is that looks like John Moore, who does the weekly show, he and I will be heading out there, or he'll be accompanying me on one of my trips, so maybe John can handle some of the video work while I'm scrambling or whatever. Hard to do by myself, I think, especially with the very stringent no handheld devices in the car in Arizona. Trust me, I got a ticket for it once. And so I don't know that I want to flirt with that again, but I don't know. We'll come up with something. Maybe I could do some short videos from my Airbnb and or maybe from my favorite bar, Booties, down there in Arizona. You never know who's going to walk into Booties. Sometimes you run into some Rangers folks there. Anyway, join the Supporters Club. You go to our homepage on the Yahoo page and hit the join button, and voila, you are a member. Also, don't forget our merch stored at allcitynetwork.com. You can see that I'm wearing a Dallas versus all y'all. I did not wear a hat today because I packed my hats. So they're already packed up. I'm leaving for Arizona tonight. And I have a lot of merch going with me. I think I have 1 sweatshirt and 5 T-shirts and 2 or 3 hats. So I will be representing DLLS out there, not just with the credential, but also with the actual merch. I encourage you guys to do the same. If you're a diehard member, you get 20% off of merch. And it's, again, the way I see it, it's an incredibly unique way to support your favorite team. It's not just Rangers merch we have out there. Stars, Mavericks, that football team, the Cowboys, and even the Wings and some college teams at store.allcitynetwork.com. All right, here we go. Things I am looking forward to seeing at spring training. And, first off the top, Cody and I were already talking about the weather. The weather this first week is going to be fantastic. I don't know if they're going to beat the weather here, though. Man, it is nice today, nice and warm. As everybody knows, I hate the cold. I prefer to be very warm. And so I will probably still be wearing a jacket in the mornings. If you're going to Arizona to spring training, it may say it's going to be 80 degrees for the high temperature, but I guarantee you it is going to be cold in the mornings. All right? Dress in layers. Don't just go out there in shorts and a T-shirt. You will be cold. I guarantee that. But again, that's just one of the comforts of spring training. One of the best things about it is seeing the green grass, seeing the trees, and having, probably never lost their leaves. Driving by a golf course and looking at how dang green and pretty that is. The fields are immaculate. There will be a day where it rains and a day gets wiped out. A workout day will get wiped out. There will be one rain out in Cactus League play. One rain out. It happens every spring, whether you like it or not. There will be a rain out. All right, but that's just the creature comforts right there. What am I looking for on the field? Okay, well, first off, there is the new manager. So I want to see Skip Schumacher and his coaching staff, but really Skip Schumacher, how he operates, how the players adapt to him. Is he more hands-on? Is he more like we're on Washington, who threw batting practice every day and hit grounders? Chris Woodward hit grounders. Or is he going to be more of a CEO type like Bruce Bochy was? But I want to see how the players react to Skip. And I also want to see how Travis Jankowski handles being on the other side of things as the first base coach and the outfield coach. All right. We talked about the fifth starter just a minute ago. What about the other four? How are they feeling? Are they going to be delayed? Are the Rangers going to try to, slow play them into their buildups? And which would mean that they would probably, not go more than 5 or 6 innings in their first few starts. Kind of don't rush into it. A little workload management in spring training. How far does that go into the season? How much of a benefit would that be? Would not surprise me if that were the case. Last year, deGrom started the 4th game of the season, if I'm not mistaken. Didn't start until the 5th game after the All-Star break. Is that something the Rangers are looking at doing? Probably be wise to look at it. Don't know if they'll do it, but curious to see. I do want to see Kumar Rocker pitch. Are you going to be able to tell any of the differences? It doesn't sound like it. It sounds like it's mostly the same delivery. He's still right-handed, so he's not going to be throwing from the left side all of a sudden. And then I want to talk to him about his off-season plan. He said that after 23 going into 25, or after 24 going into 25, he was working on conditioning more. And again, folks were saying that he was a couple 3 weeks behind, or he should have been pitching wise. Seemed like he was playing kind of catch up the whole season. Is that dialed in now? He's there. Cody Freeman just said that he faced Rocker live the other day, Friday, live batting practice. So sounds like Kumar's in a good spot and ready to go. Jake Latz also there. He left at the end of January. Catchers, Danny Jansen's new. Going to see how he is, who he's catching, who he's interacting with. And also Willie MacGyver, who a lot of A's fans were upset that he was lost on a waiver claim to the Rangers. Glove first kind of guy, at least that's what it looks like so far. Young guy, don't expect him to make the opening day roster. But if something happens to Higashioka, which happened early last season, the Rangers are going to need a backup. And they have an optional guy like MacGyver who's on the 40-man. Somebody we probably ought to watch. That's a pretty inside baseball beat writer thing, but I think I want to see it. Okay, which position players will show up first? I think Cody, it was before he joined us, as when kind of telling him the rundown of the show before it started. I think he named off 8 guys who were there. 7, Elijah was counting. 7, Jock Peterson, who lives in Scottsdale, is one of them. Kelly Mann wants info and visuals on Jock. Yeah, I think we all do too. I understand. I get it. The thing about these early position players is that they will work out. They won't really interfere with the pitchers. They'll get out of their way or let the pitchers have control of the, in the clubhouse early on. So position players will come out and work after the pitchers and catchers have started working out. So sometimes they're in and out, kind of sneaky. You don't really see them early on. But I will always try to do that, try to figure that out. And then I want to know which prospects will be on hand to serve as JICs, just in case players, to serve as JICs early on. It's a larger group. It's gotten larger and larger. Guys who are close to the major leagues, let's say, guys who theoretically could be there, or just guys who the Rangers want to give this look at, give them a chance to play in these games. Cam Colley, who's one of the early arrivees to camp that Cody Freeman mentioned, he's been one of these guys the last couple years. I would expect some of the outfielders, some of the recent draftees like Malcolm Moore, who was not invited to camp this year, Dylan Dreiling, the second rounder in 24 after Moore and was the first round pick. Expect to see a lot of those guys. Casey Cook, the third round pick that year. I don't want to go through the whole draft order, but you get where I'm coming from. Let's see them. Let's see how they perform. Because starters, look, the first week or two of games, starters or regulars, guys who are going to be on the roster, Corey Seager, et cetera, they might get 2 at-bats. They might play 3 innings and then they take it to the house or to the golf course or whatever they got planned. But so you're going to see a lot of these guys get a chance 6th, 7th, 8th innings, after the Cody Freemans, if he's not starting, if he's, let's say, backing up that day, backing up Josh Smith at second, Freeman, again, will get 2 at-bats and then be allowed to call it a day. So then you'll see other guys come in. So I'm curious to see what this group looks like. And then which guys are just there, guys that wanted to get there early, get ready for the start of minor league camp, which opens the first week of March. So a lot to look forward to there. I did see a question about some keys, some tips about going to spring training in Arizona. There was a show, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago where I talked about it kind of at length, actually. But first tip, no matter how you get there, whether you're driving or whether you're flying, workouts on the backfields are open every day. Okay, they open at 10 a.m. That's usually when the players hit the field, 10:30. They might have some meetings some days that you have to navigate around, that they have to navigate around. But the entrance is on Bullard Avenue at the south end of the backfields, the southeast end of the backfields, kind of across the street from the Rangers Village and the Royals Village where they house their minor leaguers. There's a gate right there, and you just go through there. It's free, don't cost nothing. And right on your right will be Nolan Ryan Field, which is where the major leaguers, the frontline guys, do their working out. On the left side is another field for major leaguers. And then as you continue down the walkway, and probably, I don't know, a par 5, you get to the 4-pack at the back, fields 3 through 6. That's where the minor leaguers will work out. Early on, though, that's where the pitchers and catchers are doing their work, throwing their bullpens, doing pitchers fielding practice, and then throwing their live batting practices. So those first 10 days before games start, pretty quiet. You can get around back there. There are some professional autograph seekers there who are there every day, and hopefully they don't get out of the way, or hopefully they do get out of the way, rather, or don't get in your way. Perfect time for kids to go to spring training. Kids can get up close, see stuff, see their favorite players, get their autographs. It's the best family trip. If you're a sports fan, it's the best family trip you can take. If you're a baseball fan, it's something you absolutely have to do, no matter your age, no matter your family situation. Get out there to Arizona and have a good time, because it really is special. It's unique. Even the ballparks, you're closer than you'll get at any major league ballpark. So, yeah, go to spring training. And if you need any more tips, send me an email, jwilson@alldls.com. I can help you out that way. I've been, when I was a kid, from 4th grade to 12th grade, so my 4th grade year to my senior year, the family trip was spring training. We would drive from Colorado. It's much better now. there are twice as many teams, and a lot of them are on the west side of the valley where the traffic's not so bad. Anyway, we're gonna talk Die Hard memberships here, and then we will do some batting cleanup. And holy moly, is there a lot to talk about right after this? All right. Excuse me. Today is the final day of our big game week Die Hard sale. 60% off the normal price. It's $32 to join for a year. You get a free t-shirt, and then you get 20% off of future purchases at store.allcitynetwork.com. 20% off events like, we have watch parties. We've had we had a Stars takeover at the AAC. We talk about doing this at a Rangers game. We've talked about doing it at a Frisco game. I think we're going to do it at some point. Anyway, what does a Die Hard membership get you besides that stuff? It gets you access. This is the most important thing. Access to everything written at alldls.com. Not just the free stuff, of which there isn't a ton of, but the things like I did today on the 5th starter, and the things I'll be doing for the next 10 days in Arizona. Probably multiple stories a week. Definitely one major feature and some notes. There's so much to catch up on. And I tell you what, it's going to be a good time, a busy time. But for baseball fans, if you are dying for in-depth coverage of your favorite baseball team, assuming it's the Rangers, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there for 10 days, 11 days. Well, I leave tonight, so 11. And then it looks like I'll be coming back. Mason, we might be able to see each other on the 6th. Right now, tentatively, I'm going to go from the 1st to the 6th. And then I always go for the last week for all the, whatchamacallits, all the news, all the who made the roster, who didn't make the roster. Of course, these days, the final decisions aren't made until those 2 exhibition games that'll be played at Globe Life Field against the Royals on the 23rd and 24th. I believe opening day rosters will be due the 26th, right before the Rangers open the season. Maybe the 25th, but I think the 26th. So anyway, Die Hard membership. Take advantage of this sale today. All right, time to bat cleanup. Lee Medley. Murphy came up with the Little Rascals name. Thank you for correcting me. Way to go, David Murphy. All right. First up, and this is some pretty sad news. So I don't want to start cleanup on a down note, but a lot of you saw that Terrence Gore had passed away at 34 over the weekend. Just a speedy little guy who you'll remember from the 2014-2015 postseason run with the Royals. He also was with the 21 Braves and got a World Series ring out of that. He's only 34. Now, the reason this is a big deal it's a big deal for baseball anytime, and just anytime a guy passes away this young. It's so sad. There are 3 pretty big Rangers ties, though. 2015, Gore was teammates with Chris Young, who's the Rangers, president of baseball operations. They're at the Royals when Chris Young won his World Series. Came the year after the Royals had missed out, losing in Game 7 to Bruce Bochy's Giants. So there's that tie. In 21, when Gore was with the Braves, he and Jock Peterson ran across each other. But I guess the biggest tie, the one that probably has the deepest meaning, is to Dayton Moore, the Rangers senior advisor for baseball operations. He was the general manager / president of baseball operations for the Royals during those years. And he released a statement through the Rangers on Saturday morning. We're all heartbroken to hear the devastating news of the passing of Terrence Gore, a beloved husband and father of 3, deeply devoted to his beautiful family, all hurting for Brittany, his wife, their 3 children during this incredibly difficult time. It was just went in for what was supposed to be a simple, surgical procedure, and I guess that's why he signed the waiver, and just drew the ultimate short straw here. So, terrible news, and bless him and his family, man. Okay, so back to some baseball business now. Former Rangers starting pitcher Nick Martinez agreed today to join the Tampa Bay Rays. 1 year, $13 million. This is a different Martinez, Elijah. That's all right. Anyway, Nick made his debut in 2014, as we all know, after the horrific rash of injuries to the Rangers rotation that year, and he made his debut at Tropicana Field. Pitched pretty well, as I recall. He's from Florida, from the Miami area, so his family made a quick trip over. He just has to drive across Alligator Alley to get to Tampa St. Pete, and they train at Port Charlotte, where the Rangers had their training, their spring training before moving to Arizona. Eric Fetty to the White Sox this morning. Chris Paddock to the Marlins. Marcell Ozuna, the right-handed bat that a lot of you guys in the chat wanted the Rangers to add, gets 1 year and $12 million from the Pirates. Look, the Rangers were never going to pay that much for a guy who essentially would be a backup DH or a platoon DH guy with Jock Peterson. Now, if Jock Peterson wasn't around, maybe the Rangers would have been in on it, but Jock is around. So this likely spells the end of the Andrew McCutchen era. Could end McCutchen's career. A former MVP, somebody who loves the city of Pittsburgh, came back after signing with the Phillies. So we'll see how that unfolds. There was a big trade today. Brewers and Red Sox. Boston gets their third baseman in Caleb Durbin. There's 2 prospects and a Comp B pick going from the Brewers to the Red Sox. And the Brewers get 3 prospects, including lefty Kyle Harrison. Harrison, as you guys might recall, was in the Devers trade, the Rafael Devers trade with the Giants last year. Hot commodity, apparently. So there you go. The A's, the Oakland A's, or the West Sacramento A's, have hired Mark McGwire as a special assistant with player development. It's an interesting hire. McGwire is 62. Obviously, we know about the home runs. We know what he admitted to doing. Not in the Hall of Fame, probably won't get into the Hall of Fame, even though baseball profited off of him and Sammy Sosa at a great extent there in the 1998 season and chase of Roger Maris' single-season record. Hey, McGwire's been a hitting coach, I believe, at some places. I might be making that up, but it seems like I remember that. This is a guy who loves the game, and at 62, he can offer these guys a lot of advice, especially on what not to do. All right, Buck Martinez has retired. Time for the Buck Martinez graphic, the Blue Jays broadcaster. He's been on ESPN and just a tremendous person. Had an opportunity to talk with him last season when the Blue Jays were in town. Pretty pivotal series, as I recall, kind of at a time when the Rangers felt good about themselves. And I think both teams scored like less than 5 runs in the series, and the Blue Jays in about 2 of the 3. I tell you what, good guy here, and baseball lifer type, and everybody liked Buck Martinez, and he sure seemed to like everybody else. So sad he won't be around. Won't be able to see him again, but I bet we do see him again at some point. Arbitration. I think players are 5-1, if I'm not mistaken, including Tarek Skubal. I tell you what, that's not good for the arbiters. Major League Baseball and the Players Association, at any, after each arbitration process, they can go ahead and fire these guys. And the guys who keep siding with the players, they might want to have a cardboard box handy to pack up all their stuff, because I don't know if they're going to be around. I'm sure a lot of you guys watched the halftime show last night during the Super Bowl, and Bad Bunny, the halftime performance, had a lot of celebrity cameos during his appearance, including Brave superstar, there he is, Ronald Acuna Jr. I was kind of struck by that, in that Acuna is Venezuelan, whereas Bad Bunny is Puerto Rican. I guess maybe Francisco Lindor was busy, or Carlos Beltran couldn't be found, or my preference would have been Benji Molina. But anyway, it was pretty cool, and you saw that whole picture down there of all the cameos. The Mandalorian and Cardi B, and there were some others I just had no idea who they are. But anyway, that was pretty cool. And we all know that Seattle was in the Super Bowl, won the Super Bowl, and some Mariners were on hand. Not pictured Julio Rodriguez, but there's Cal Raleigh on the left. And the guy in the middle, it's his picture. I'm not quite sure who he was, but you see Brian Wu, and you see Josh Naylor, and then was that George Kirby. I saw the comments of this picture on Twitter, and Wu was getting some heat for not having on any Seahawks merch. He is wearing a Kraken hat. Look, let's say I pitched for something. Somebody. Let's say I'm a Broncos fan, which of course I am, and I'm playing for the Las Vegas A's. And my God, the Raiders make the Super Bowl, and my teammates with the A's want to go and support the Raiders, and they want me to come along. I'll be wearing a Vegas Golden Knight hat. I will not be wearing a Raiders jersey. So maybe Brian Wu is staying loyal to his favorite football team. And if he is, I commend him. And all you Mariners fans that are whining, a lot of whiners there. Suck it. Adam Ray is who gave the picture. He's a comedian. I will have to look him up. I do like stand-up comedy. All right. Do we have some questions? I think we do. I've seen a couple times. Will there be webcasts in addition to the exhibition TV schedule? The answer is no. I have not been told why, other than, there are some multiple circumstances that have led to that. I believe Sean with the Morning News wrote a story about Jared Sandler in the offseason. I think Jared's wife is due at some point in March. Anyway, I don't know if that's the sole reason or if that's even a reason. And but that came to mind immediately. They could have asked me. I would have done it. I've never broadcast anything before. I'd also never done an hour-long show by myself before. So the more you talk, I guess the more you can fill air, and probably do some research and have all the information about these guys, these bios, and guys you never heard of who are in the games late. I'm not even sure if they actually called the games late, like the 7th inning on. What are they talking about? They can't be doing play-by-play for guys you've never heard of. I don't know. Rarities. Do you see the Rangers signing a last-minute right-handed bat? I think it's a possibility. We talked about it the other day on the show when I was trying to come up with a lineup against lefties, and it was a little short. Again, though, with Osuna now off the board, there aren't like a ton of guys out there, and I don't know. I think somebody had brought up Paul Goldschmidt. Well, he signed with the Yankees and left him. Forgot about that. And only got $4 million from the Yankees. That's a pretty good bargain for them if he performs anything like he did last year, especially against the left-handed pitchers. So I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. I really wouldn't. What else did we see? Closers. Again, that'll be a big story that I try to conquer as early as tomorrow. I'd like to speak to Alexis Diaz. Chris Martin, who we didn't have a conference call with, would like to talk to him. Robert Garcia, we talked to him a lot last year, and he really wants the job, knows he can do it, had some hiccups. What has he learned from that? Will the WBC have him dialed in sooner than the rest? I don't know. There are a lot of questions there. I do still think, though, that Alexis Diaz is the guy the Rangers are really hoping pans out. They only signed him for $1 million. Has the closer stuff. Hopefully, that's what happens. The static camera. That's something else. Anyway, I think that the Rangers are ready to go. You heard from Cody Freeman. You heard about all the guys who are there. And pitchers and catchers don't have a choice. They got to be there tomorrow. So I will be there. Shows this week, the rest of the week, Wednesday and Friday, we're going to go at 3 p.m. The whole time zone difference, it's only 1 hour for now, but I don't want to miss anything when the guys are on the field. So we're going to go ahead and push it back to 2 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, which is 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. So that's what we're going to do. One last thing, if you weren't already fired up for baseball, we're going to leave you some words of wisdom from Joey Votto. So until Wednesday, Jeff Wilson here. Thanks for watching the DLLS Rangers podcast.
It's the best game. And as the weather turns and the days get longer and people get excited to be outside, we have the game that is outside. It's a party. It's sunny, green grass. I mean, we really have the game. The more I think about it, we have the game. And the pace nowadays is perfect for people get to check their phones, check social media. They get to have an adult beverage or a hot dog or what have you. And things at an easier pace, but we've also sped up the game where there's enough in between time where you can fool with your phone and you get to watch the game, you get to socialize, it's like a big barbecue, and I just miss it. I miss it so much.
We all silly like the mayor.